Howdy, 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 howdy. I hope everybody's doing great. I'm sitting here making some contacts before we get in here so people can send me some text on what else I can describe about tonight's show. I hope everybody's had a blessed day today. Looks like we got a lot of people in here already. We got Catfish and Crappy, Creole, John Finally. Oh, John, we ain't seen you in a while. James Dockery's in the house. Muskrat, Creole, Muskrat. I apologize for last night, buddy. I had a long freaking day and I was asleep by 7:45. I do apologize, my friend. I know it had to be a good show. You had a sweet lady on your show last night. I enjoyed her having on my show a while back. Avid's in the house. Who else we got in here? Catfish and Crappy. Don't want to miss no names. Probably will. We're going to do a little more teaching tonight. Josh. What's up, Josh? Jeff Baker. Guys, I'm probably going to miss some comments tonight because I'm going to try to go over quite a bit of stuff. Outdoor Addiction, K&B. What's going on, Kevin? Ace. What's going on? Mr. Finn Seeker himself's in the house. Let's get this started. Let's get this party started. Mr. Dexter Tang. What's up, Rex Blocker? Chunky Cats, Fishing with Squirrel. Did I say that right? Yeah, Fishing with Squirrel. Mr. Glenn. Glenn knows where I'm at right here. He knows where I'm at all over here. I need to get me a pointer. So Ellen G, Joe Buck, Chesapeake Bay Catfishing. Appreciate you coming in, my friend. Appreciate you coming in. Let's get this started by saying God bless America, guys. God bless you and your families. I hope everybody is doing great. Is 812 in here? If he is, I missed him. There's Mike Turner. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mr. Big Nasty said he's watching, but he's driving right now, so he'll be in watching, won't be chatting with you. Mr. Lyle in the house. Hey, guys, we're going to go over last week. Me and Lyle discussed a lot of stuff about this area. This is the South Fork, where it comes into the main river, main lake of Lake Wiley. Oop, let me move. I'm going the wrong direction. This is the old Catawba River right here. Wiley channel through the middle of Lake Wiley. This is a sweet little old cove right here. It's a little short cove with a lot of riprap along this bank, all the way right around here. This is the South Fork. Get my head out of the way. This is the South Fork, the old South Fork River channel coming in. And this is a real long point. And here's some little short points right here. South Fork has a lot of long points. So tonight, what we're going to do, last week we talked about places to look for fish, to catch fish. This week, I want to talk a little bit about technique. Lyle, I gave you a holler a little while ago, so if you see something I might need to discuss on here, shoot me a text on my phone. I got a couple other people that's going to do that, so I might not catch your question or your comments in the chat. So if you don't mind, shoot it to me on my phone, and I'll get a chance to look at it. So let me get a drink of coffee before I get cotton mouth. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot. Appreciate it, Lyle. Yeah, guys, before I get started, hopefully we'll have some new channels come in here tonight. And if you see channels in here that you're not subscribed to, please go check them out. Share the bait. Let's help everybody hit the goals that they wish to hit on YouTube. If you don't mind, hit the like button here, share it out. Hopefully we give out some great information that you can use on your home waters. There's Sean. What's up, Miss Betty Jean? Need to get you some of them red, white, and blue leggings, lady. So let's get it started. Let's give out some good information. First technique I want to discuss is a technique that most of us use anyway, is either the Santee or the Carolina rig. And it was named for North Carolina, South Carolina water. So that's where it comes from, guys, is some of the techniques that we've used here for years, but it's been used across the country for 100 years. A great, great technique. Mr. 812, what's going on, Joe? He'll give you a holler tomorrow, my friend. But anyway, that technique of the Santee rig, which is named from Santee Cooper, is basically a Carolina rig with a little old peg float or a demon dragon or a dragon shad or whatever pegged onto your leader line, and a weight, either sliding or not sliding weight, either way is still basically a Carolina rig. With that rig, you can actually drift, drag, or anchor fish with it. Basically with a Santee rig, it's basically made for dragging, but you can use it either way, especially if you got a little bit of current. What's going on, Skip? That can be used in a variety of places. It works great. What's up, Brandon and Maurice? Joe Buck, don't want to miss nobody. But it can be tricky around heavy structure. A lot of times, if you're throwing into structure, that bait as it's falling can be whipping around like that. And if you're dropping it into a limmy structure, that thing can wrap up around limbs or debris, whatever might be in there. A lot of times, places like that, I go to a Kentucky rig, a 2-hook or a 1-hook Kentucky rig. Most of the time, just 1 hook. Because be my luck, I'd get 2 40-pounders on one line and wouldn't be able to get it. I would lose both of them trying to get one. So with that being said, we stick with the Carolina rig and the Santee rig first. Get my big head out of the way. Get over here where I can work this out of y'all's head. Right here is that long, long point. Now, that point can be drugged, it can be drifted until you get down around this area right here. And you can still drift through there, but I promise you, you're going to lose a couple rigs. What's up, Buckeye? There, David Martin, Peel and Drag. They are some debris down there, and I would assume that it is metal. It is sharp, and you'll hang up, but a lot of times, as soon as you hang up, it cuts lines. But you will catch fish in here, and a good place to catch channel cats also. But they are some old stump fields in here. Now, how them stumps are still left in here from this lake being over 100 years old, you thought they would be gone by now. There's D in the house, John Isabella. A good place to catch bait fish is right up in this area. If you'll notice, there's a hole right here. We catch a lot of perch in this area, and we also catch a lot of perch down around this area right here. Notice the difference. This area is real close to banks. The ledge is real steep. It drops off into deep water quick. There are a lot of debris right in this area. So if you go to drag this channel, you know when you get about 50, 60 yards before this cove, you better pull your baits up. You will lose them. It's almost like half a dozen trout lines or something down there, and it will grab every one of your rods. But what I'm trying to discuss is this could be used on any waters wherever you fish, whether it's rivers or lakes. Most of the time, rivers are not going to quite look like this, but you might run into it. What's up, Ozark guys? Not seeing what I'm pointing out. Okay, you can't see my cursor, guys? Probably not. I'm sorry. I was not thinking. Let me get something to be a pointer. I'll be right back. I'm glad you said that, Glenn. I'm glad you said that. Okay. Let me start all over, guys. I apologize. I was thinking y'all would see the cursor, but you don't. Okay. If I can get this right. This long point right here, if I can get it right, going up through here is a very long point that goes up to land. That point is full of stumps. Not a lot of trees or debris like that, but a lot of stumps. It's a good place to drag baits. Yeah, I wished it was an 80-pound flathead. I'd be sitting there every day. But anyway, it's full of good stumps, and it's a good place that you can start up here and drag down both sides. Oop, it's hard to go straight with that camera. And go down here and then drift back up, pulling the Carolina rig or the Santee. Just know when you get down in this area, dang, this is going to be aggravating without the cursor. When you get in this area, be prepared. You're going to lose rigs. There's just no way around it. There's something down there that I'm thinking it might be an old gold dredge that they had there back in the early 1900s, but it's made out of metal, so it cuts lines. That is a good place. Also, what I used to do years ago, we would set about right in here when there wasn't no but channel cats in the lake, and we would throw off both sides of the boat over to the main channel, deep water, and back over into the old river channel from the South Fork. Then we would throw down in here and then throw back up towards the bank. Back up towards the bank is where, if there wasn't pulling current, you can't see the green bobbers. I brought the wrong color bobbers. Hold on a second. I wasn't thinking about the green screen. The bobbers disappeared on me. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's go with orange. Orange will probably be more visible. I wasn't thinking about them being green, and I grabbed them. It would be good to use floats. But, so, these are good areas to try different techniques. If you get down into this area right here, dadgummit, left hand, right hand ain't doing what I want it to do. I usually do straight down suspended rods using the Kentucky rig. I hear you. Well, I think it's got a green light in it. No, it's got a blue light, so you can see it. Anyway, we'll use it as our pointer. This area right here, I usually use a Kentucky rig and drop bait straight down. Caught some nice flatheads right there. Running lake fishing's in the house. What's up, Josh? It's a great place. Any place that I find that is heavy in debris, I like to go with the Kentucky rig. Some guys just say, I've heard Lyle say that you got to lose rigs. You're going to lose rigs. And I agree with that. I try to negate the best I can to try not to lose that much. It ain't that I don't want to lose the rigs. I just hate having to retie while I'm out trying to fish. Mr. Flint Hill's in the house. All right, let me get back over here. It's going to be tough. It's throwing my brain off. Anyway, this area right here, this little old cove right here is very short, full of riprap, rock, and a lot of standing stumps and stuff in there. And it used to be slam full of Christmas trees for crappie. There's always a load of crappie right there. There's always a load of white perch coming in there. So that is another good place to use bobbers, to throw a Carolina rig, but know that you're probably going to lose that Carolina rig if you let it move much in there. But back up in here and to the back, go over here, back up there into the back is kind of a mud flat. And you could tell that it once was fed by a good creek. A lot of laydowns on this bank right here. This bank over here, not so much. But this bank across the side, there's a lot of laydowns. And mainly because if you will look, if I can get this right, if you'll look right here with the main river channel, there's a secondary channel. Dadgummit. There's a secondary channel coming up. It goes over to an island. There's a big island. I'm making y'all sick probably. There's a big island right on up from here. But this secondary channel right here runs to the back side of that island. And all along around that island are big flats. And this is going to drive y'all crazy and me crazy too. This bank right here has a number of trees, laydowns all in there. And it has, I know of some great flatheads and some blues caught out of that area. A lot of good fish are being caught from that area. You can drag baits up through there. I would recommend that you drag them right on that, make a pass up through there first, mark your treetops, and then drag your baits across the outside of the treetops. And then if you mark some fish, maybe come back and anchor. It'll throw out bobbers, which you can use whatever bobber you choose. You can use the Muddy Rivers. You can use mine. You can use angry cat bobbers, or you can use just the peg float bobbers. It don't matter as long as you are confident with whatever you throw. Make a choice and go with it. Try it. If it don't work, then try something different. I'm just telling you guys the techniques that I have used, the techniques that a lot of guys that fish these waters choose to use. Fishermen that have been catfishing for trophy cats a lot longer than me. Is that the point where we launched it at the Grand Slam? Yes, K&B, that is on up the river from here. This is the main river channel going up to South Point. So yeah, if you run down the lake by the power lines, you was going to come into this is the South Fork right here. This is the South Fork. The South Fork, I just talked with Richard a minute ago. The South Fork, a lot of people drag the river channel, and you'll catch a straggler here and there. But what they're missing is once you get on up into the South Fork, it's so aggravating. This is the old river channel. You see the ledges. A lot of people want to drag right up through the middle of this channel, when really, people, you need to drag the tops and the ledges themselves. You don't think that's the South Fork? Richard, you might be right. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it is, man. Look at it and pull it up real close and compare it. Because this is the channel coming out. I know that because I pulled it up on my phone, and this is a blew up version. This ain't Allison though. And it would have been the only two places that I would have pulled up would have been the South Fork or Allison. And I know it ain't Crowder's. But you might be right because of that right there. That right there. Either way, the names ain't really that important. Yeah, you might be right, Richard. I don't know which one I would have pulled up right here. But I was thinking it was. I was thinking it was simply because of the other two markers. Anyway, so names really is South. Well, if you can figure out which one it is, let me know, guys. That's Tiga K. Well, if that's Tiga K, the only thing that's going back across that lake that's got that big a water glen would be Allison, Crowder's, Little Allison, and I don't think that's what that is. Now, that might be Big Allison, Little Allison, you know, over here on this side. But the main thing, guys, is not really the name that I'm looking at right there. Yes. What's up, Chris? Yes, you're right. You're right, Chris. Everything that's in blue is underwater. The island I was talking about is up out of the frame. But if it's not the place I thought it was, then they ain't no island right there. So, my goof. But what I'm trying to discuss basically, guys, is different techniques to use and what to use, what to look for when you're looking at Navionics or any other mapping app that is out there, is to look for your deeper holes. If you'll notice, if I can get this thing right here. See this hump? It is marked very well. It drops down to 48 foot, 41 foot, 45 foot. But little bitty places like that will concentrate bait fish. And you see there's a little underwater island all through here. But if you notice, all out through here is 45, 48, 43, and then it drops down in the middle, 52, 51. Them are places that you might want to put a little dot on your maps and say, next time I'm down there, I'm going to go check that hole out. Because a lot of times you will have one, maybe two good fish that's done called that hole home. Because in this area, let me get my head out of the way, you will see this point right here. It's an underwater point. It comes out. See how steep that is right here, guys? Pull baits, pull baits, pull baits, all the way down through here. All the way, and you see the rise right here, and then there's a hole right here. Now, I don't know what created that hole, whether it's man-made or whether it's something that nature has done. And it might be, guys, since this is a lake, if you will really pay attention in the lakes, on a lot of them flats, you'll see a big hole. A lot of times them are old farm ponds. If you can find, what's up, Kentucky? If you can find old farm ponds, waypoints. If you can find them old farm ponds, you can find a little sweet honey hole. Now, back over to the other side is what I'm wanting to show you. This second, my arm's going to be in the dadgum way. This secondary channel right here, guys, just because that's the main river channel, a lot of times during flooding, this secondary channel will get some good debris, a lot of good debris, and it will also lay down food in there. A good place to find channels and blues over in here. But closer to the bank where you got these real sharp cut off banks, they are very steep. I wish I could zoom in on this and show you how steep it is. These lines are so close together, it's almost vertical walls. I know some guys that are taking these bobbers, or any bobber that you can use that you tie a slip knot on, and what they're doing, they're going down through there and marking fish. And if the fish are laying at, say, halfway down, I'm spot on. Okay. I thought I was, Richard. I wasn't sure. Now, when you said that, you make me second guess, but without zooming out, I really couldn't tell. When they're taking the floats, and if they're marking fish, say if that's let's see, it's 40 foot down in the channel, and then it goes all the way up into real shallow water, then what they doing is setting it at, say, whatever depth they're marking fish at, and they are floating. If they, a lot of times Lake Wally have just a little bit of current just from water going through the dam, just enough that they were taking and throwing. This is going to be aggravating. Backwards, Dumtail. They will take and throw them floats up against this bank and let that current drag them back down very slowly and set other rods off out. A lot of times they're dropping straight down into that channel. But then what it is, you got this real sharp thing, and then you got a ledge, and then it drops off on the other side down into the river channel. Understand what I'm saying? This is the land, and then the sharp drop, and then you got this little flat area, and then you got the main river channel. That flat, that flat right there, guys, do not ever overlook them. Mike, looking forward to your show. Mississippi, don't want to miss it, guys. If I'm missing, there's Chad in the house. Places like that, if you don't have a way to drop a waypoint, make sure that you get a mental note, a notepad, write this down, look at the land, get some land markings, look across this map, and you can see, you mark it off right here. And if you look across this map, see its landmark, you know that if you're in between them two marks, then you have a good place to, you can line up your boat about where you need it to be. What's up, Jays? What's up, Junior? I hope that ankle's feeling better, my friend. Jason. So with them flats on the top right there, now I don't know how much debris is up there. I would assume that there's a good bit, but it might get flushed off when we've been having some good flood waters coming down through there. What's up, One Over Outdoors? I would assume you could drag baits through there. I've never drug through there. Richard might have. Richard, if you drug baits through there, then let me know. I know Richard's mainly an anchor fisherman, but he will drag baits. So, guys, always think outside the box. And if you'll notice in this main river channel, I'm trying to show you, there's a 56-foot hole. Well, the main part of this channel is 50 foot. And this is the old river channel. There, right there is 57 foot. It's no longer that deep. I think Navionics, when they mapped this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Glenn or Lyle or Richard, I think when they marking these depths, these are the actual river bottoms themselves. But being a lake, lakes silt in, and they silt in a lot. Places that I know, used to know years ago on Lake Wiley, some of the channels, some of the marks are no longer there. They're silted in, has done become islands and got trees growing on them. So I'm sure that, in fact, I know up around Paul Creek, there was used to be a hole up there that now is a giant mussel bed. Good place to drop a waypoint, but it's no longer as deep as what Navionics says it is. So take that into consideration. Navionics is saying that one spot up there next to Paul Creek is supposed to be like 46 foot, and it's actually about 35 foot. And it's about 10 foot deep. What's up, Mike? It's about 10 foot deep of a stinking, rotten old mussel bed. Stinking. So make them mental notes too, guys, and mark you some waypoints, because them old mussel beds, especially right after spawn, carry good fish. They want to put food in their bellies. They know they can go there and load up on mussels and have something to eat, fill the void in their belly, and get them some protein at the same time. Don't overlook old foundations and road beds. Exactly right. Jeff Manning, he's one of the best I've ever seen on Lake Wiley for finding old road beds and stuff. He's got a picture up on his channel. It might be a video where he found an old road bed and said he had to ride back and forth across that thing a half a dozen or a dozen times before he got the right view on his depth finder to actually see it. And you can actually see the post that was beside the road, like just standing post, and they're straight in a line. Now, whether it's Dieter Melhorn, what's up, Mr. Melhorn? Mr. Melhorn knows this lake very well, too. Mr. Melhorn, correct me. Is this the South Fork coming into Wiley? Because I'm thinking I'm screwed up. But, yeah, old foundations, old bridges. Most of our bridges on Lake Wiley have been redone a time or two. A lot of them old bridges, a lot of the debris is still down there, the concrete. Them are great places for flatheads. And think about it, guys. Everywhere there's a bridge, 90% of the time, the river channel or the lake actually closes in and then narrows up and then widens back out. Anywhere you got a spot like that on your lake, I screwed up. Too deep. Well, try to tell me where it's at, Dieter, because I'm trying to figure out. I've took so many pictures of them things. But either way, I ain't really worried about the name. I'm showing the different areas that you can look for and the different techniques that you can use. What's up, Zach? On this part. And it might be in the lower part of the lake. I don't know the lower part of the lake that well, so I don't know where I would have took this unless this is Allison. This might be very well be Allison. It very well might be. Looks like TK. Mark, it might be. I took so many pictures of places like that to keep on my phone because I put marks south of Buster Board. You might very well be right. So if that's the case, then this little cove, guys, that I was talking about right here might not be what. In fact, guys, you are right. This is not the South Fork. There's too many docks in this. There is no docks in this cove up there at the South Fork. Duh. Tell Goober I said, hey, looks like Allison, right between Ebenezer and Nevins. You probably right there, Dieter. And I might have done that when I was looking for perch, places to mark for perch, and when I was fishing the lower part of the lake. So I was just trying to find places, guys, using Navionics to search for places that I know that my boat could get to pretty easy. My boat being slow, I need to really pay attention and mark places on my Navionics that I can get to and not waste time traveling. Sorry about that. And what kind of techniques I'm going to use fishing these. I know that if it's down around Allison, I've seen a lot of people drag baits along this upper flat here. I know it holds bait there. You will find good perch hump right behind you. You're exactly right, Dieter. Dieter, I think Lake Wiley is 13,000 acres or 33,000 acres. I can't remember. I cannot remember. What's up, Palmetto? I wish we all could see my cursor. Only I can see it. It made it a lot easier. But if you notice, guys, Navionics can be your friend. It can save your life with what me and Lyle was talking about last week. What's up, Mr. Blues? It can also find you humps, holes, sharp ledges, shallow, really not so steep ledges that you can drag baits up and down. It's hard to drag baits up a real steep ledge. But these are some of the techniques that I've watched Dieter use, that I've watched Jeff Manning use, Richard, quite a few other guys that 13,000, okay. That I've seen other guys use on my home waters. That lake is big enough and my boat's slow enough that I have not explored that whole lake. I've still got a lot to learn. I mean, yes, I like fishing other lakes, You're very welcome, Mark. I'm just passing along the information that I've learned from others. I promise you guys, I am no expert, never will claim to be. I just want to pass along good information that I've learned from good fishermen on my home waters. And hopefully this is information that you can use on the waters that you fish. This point over here, let me get it right. Go back over this. See this point right here, guys? And you can see there's a little river channel that goes back up into here. Well, you see it narrows down right here. And that is a very steep ledge. And this is a very not so steep ledge. For the lack of words right now, I'm tongue-tied. If you'll notice, right in the middle of it, there's a little 38-foot deep hole. But right across here, you see how shallow that stuff drops off. A lot of times you will have fish that will hold on these ledges right here. And these bait fish will gather in between here and here. And that will gather up on here, especially if you have any kind of structure on this little bitty short point. As you can see the point. I know where this is at. This is Allison. I've caught. Richard, you turned me on to this spot right here. This ain't Allison. This is Crowder's, ain't it? Crowder's. This is the point that he turned me on to. I was having a rough day. The wind was blowing that pontoon all over the place. And I was able, what's up, Muddy Waters? I was able to take an anchor right here with the wind in my face and get a good bite with my anchor off of that ledge. And I put some good catfish in the boat that day, guys. Good catfish, hard slamming until the wind just got so much that I couldn't, it was pulling my anchors loose. But the fish that I caught actually come out of that channel. But I caught one because I was anchored up more right in here. And I threw my lines up on here and then out in the channel. But my biggest fish of the day come off of this little spot right here that was about 10 foot off of the bank. I wasn't using a float. I didn't have my floats back then. I was using probably a Santee rig, not a Demon Dragon, just a slip float on there. But I never would have thought. I throwed it over there because it's real rocky. It's got a lot of riprap rock in there. Riprap rock, guys, will hold shad too. It gets that algae built up on it. It'll hold brim. Perch will come through there and feed. But a lot of times you will find good gizzards. You will find good tread fed loads up there. Anywhere you see that rock that people has put on the banks, it goes down into the water, concrete, all of that, that holds algae. Shad loves algae. They will come in and feed on them rocks. Well, they ain't feeding on the rocks. They're feeding off the algae on the rocks. What do you mean, no bobbers, Palmetto? Yeah, you could have. I didn't have bobbers back then. I had just a little old peg float bobbers. But you could use them there. But right there is usually I'm fishing off of the bottom. Maybe next time I go down there, I'll throw a bobber up there and let it float around back towards the back here. Just let it float back and forth across through here. Maybe put me some good live baits on here. But if you'll notice, let me get my big old head out of the way. See this right here, guys? That is a good spot. First, go across it and see if you ain't got, if there's no fish holding on the top of this, then what I do, I would anchor down right here, and that would give me baits off of both sides. Get over here, both sides of it, off into the secondary channel that goes right here, and then that main channel that runs right through here, anchoring up. Yeah, I didn't have no bobbers back then, not these anyway. What's up, Bottom Dollar? So, guys, don't always think outside the box when things are not working for you. Things that, I guess what I'm trying to say is don't get tunnel vision. Don't say, well, it worked here yesterday or it worked here last week. Or if you look through your notes to last year at this time and things just ain't working the same as what it did last year. Think about, have we had more rain? Is it cooler? Is the water temperature the same? That's why it's great, guys, to take notes. It's great to take pictures. Go back and take those pictures and put some notations in there of water temperature, the temperature of the day. Was it sunny? Was it a high pressure, low pressure? All those little things will be all those little things can add up to having a good day or an off day, a big fish or dinks. If you're catching dinks and say you're sitting up here on this ledge and you're catching dinks off of this side over here and not off of this side, why? Ask yourself why. What am I doing wrong? Why ain't they on both sides? Ask questions. Ask questions of yourself. Ask questions of why I didn't mark that on my picture or what was different. Yes, Brad, yes. Always, and a lot of times I've heard Richard say this numerous of times, and I've heard Jeff say it too, and probably Lyle. If you're not catching fish right here, move 50 foot up or move 50 foot down. If you're in an area that you know hold good fish, you know it. You've marked them coming in there, and maybe they've moved a little bit since you anchored up, then give it 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Certain times of the year, I wait a little longer. That's just me. That's the choices that I make. So move up. Stay on that ledge. If you're marking them at 30 foot and you're at a river channel that's 45 foot, back up. Look for that 30 foot range. Look for them 30 foot fish. I probably missed something. Anyway, guys, if I miss your comments, I do apologize. I'm just trying to share some good information that's been passed along to me by some veteran catfishermen. I wished I could bring, I should have hollered at Dieter, see if I could bring him in here or Richard bring him in here tonight just to share some good information about this area right here. They are more familiar with what's going on, but I'm just trying to share some of that information with you because this area right here, I haven't fished it, but I promise you my next trip down to Lake Wiley will be right there. That, to me, that's just a secondary channel that is a flat. You can tell by looking at, there's 40, 40, 41, all the way up through here, all the way down. And then all of a sudden you got a rise right here where it narrows up. That's 34 foot. This is 25 foot. And then all of a sudden you got a real sharp ledge down into this channel right here. To me, thank you, Skip. To me, that is just a spot that calls my name. Now, it might not ever carry a fish. It might not. And there might not have ever been a fish caught there from anybody on the water. But you don't know if you don't throw. So you got to try it out. Oh, what's going on, DMV? I'm trying to read what you're saying, my friend. Now, remember, that's what you say when you do your opening. So try it, guys. I mean, try it. And I mean, you can anchor up. I would anchor up, to me, I would anchor up here in the mouth and throw some baits up in here where it narrows down, because it looks like that it don't flatten out right here. It looks like it still keeps dropping all the way into the channel. Maybe it ain't so steep right I can get it. Maybe it ain't so steep right in there. The lines ain't as close together as they are right here. But I would anchor up right there. You can throw baits off into the main river channel. You can throw baits against the bank, which you know good and well, guys. I love throwing baits against the bank, whether it's daytime or nighttime, especially if there's a lot of debris in there. Maybe you can get that old flathead that's setting up in there, and he's thinking, man, I still got 4 more hours of daylight before I can eat. I taste something. Oh, that's right there beside my head. And he might take that bait for you. But if there's debris in there, you better be ready for him. You drag that whole creek all the way to the back. Yes, but there's some techniques there's some things on Wiley that a lot of times going up in our creeks, we will drag the tops of those ledges. Maybe not mainly down into the channel itself, especially when we get towards the back of them. Now, that's a good place for planer boards. If it does get pretty shallow and it's kind of iffy, like it is in the very back of South Fork, then you can set your planer boards, spread them out to the sides, up on them ledges, so you can keep your boat into that river channel. Be a perfect place to drag those baits on the tops using planer boards. Now, whether you drag them, like I've seen Dieter and a lot of other guys throw long lines out and then set their planer boards, but also would probably be a good spot to set your planer boards and run them like you're running a float. Let them suspend underneath your planer boards and pull them down through there. Every once in a while, they probably going to hit the bottom and come back up, but I like to set mine about a foot off of the bottom and let them suspend all the way down through there. Good night, Betty Jean. Great video with you and your mom, girl. I enjoy seeing family, mother, daughter, father, son. Family videos. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, lady. Run off on me. I see how you want to be now. Share the love. Let's see. I got a few messages. Somebody asking a question. But old roadways. Oh, that was Richard. If you can find old roadways, and there are a few on Wiley, you have to really look at the land and pay attention to some of the layout of the land, that there might used to be a bridge there, but then a lot of them old ones that used to cross the old Catawba River before it was Lake Wiley, it's hard to tell by looking at the land. You're more likely going to have to really pay attention to your depth finder, to what your graph is telling you. What I try to look for is anywhere that there's newer bridges. At one time, there was probably a road that crossed through there. And instead of when they flooded it is when they come in and made a bridge. So you look for areas around newer bridges. And most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, is that's where you can find some of the old river beds. I mean, the old road beds that's come through there. If there's something that I forgot to mention, guys and gals, through here, then please pop up a question. I'll try to look and see if I can see it in chat. But I use a Kentucky rig, guys, when I'm dropping baits down into more debris fields, more heavier structure. If I know that it's Friday, Saturday, and Monday, I hear you. Good luck, Palmetto. Going to get some eaters. I need to do that too, but not out of Wiley. I don't want to eat them poop-eating catfish out of Wiley. Like a poop-eating dog. But anyway, places that draw your attention for some reason when you're looking through your maps, make a notation of it and go check it out. Now, it might not be nothing, but a lot of times, for some reason, it's drawn your attention for some reason, whether it's something that Dieter told you, something that Lyle told you, something that Wampus Cat told you, or any of your fishermen that's been doing this for a lot of years might have been explaining something and you just thought, man, something's familiar about this. I don't know what it is, but I need to go check it out. Just like this ledge right here. Something tells me that, James, you need to check that out. I know that if this is where I think it is now, up in here, there are tons, and when I say tons, literally tons of perch being caught out of these waters right here. And right here around my left ear, see that hump, guys? Well, that's a hole. See, it's 35 foot, 34 foot, and then 40 foot around it. Let me get my big head out of the water. That is a good, I get it right. That is a good hump right there. Very good hump. Catch perch out there by the tons. I don't. Me and perch don't get along, but I know of tons and tons and tons of perch get caught right there. And I'm sure that there's probably some big old fat catfish laying around in them areas or move through them areas because it's a good transitional spot. Because look, guys, look at all the humps. Look at all the holes through here. Tons of it. Tons of holes and humps all through this area. Guys, there are fish here. But look for these spots like this on your own waters. And look at this main river channel. Look at the different holes all the way up through here, guys. Hole right there. There's a hole right on up here. Look for those spots. Mark waypoints and check it. And check it. For some reason, your mental thinking is not just what you learned today or not what you learned tomorrow or yesterday. Things like that draw your attention comes from years of fishing, years of listening to grandpa, years of listening to daddy, uncles, even brothers. I've heard a lot of people say, like Lyle said, his brother used to take him fishing. He learned a lot from his brother. Doc, the same way, he's learned from other people. They learn from other fishermen that are tournament fishermen. Tournament fishermen don't like to give up a whole lot of information. Some will, some won't. Richard will share, and I'm sure he's sharing the truth. I love fishing Wiley. It's a very unique lake. I want to try Monticello and Watery. Yep, I've not fished them a lot. Fishing, not catching. What's going on, buddy? Guys, don't forget to think outside the box when the lake is really stumping you. When you can't figure out why that lake won't give you the fish, and you know they're there, you know you've marked them. But what I'm going to ask to each and every one of you to do, please, each and every one of you to do, is next time you go out, do me one favor. Keep me in mind. Carry one bucket of chicken livers with you. One bucket of chicken livers. I've got a daggone theory, and I need some help to prove it right or wrong. I've heard so many times people say, well, I've marked a ton of big fish, and they will not go. I put live bait, I put cut bait on them, I put everything in my boat on them, whether it's a game fish for bait or whether it's perch, whether it's shad, skipjack, or whatever. I've heard that so many times that they've come up on fish like that and they cannot get them to go. When you do that and they will not go, do me a favor. Drop a chicken liver on them. Drop a chicken liver on them. Drop them straight down on top of their heads. Palmetto, I don't like gizzards. They don't, the blood content don't last long on them. They're tough. They stay on the hook a lot better. They cast a lot easier. The scent just, to me, don't stay there that long. But that old gooey, nasty chicken liver, there's a guy out there, you can look on YouTube, is that he catches huge freaking striper, huge, big striper on wads of chicken liver like that on a dragging baits, and it's chicken livers catching striper. Look it up on YouTube. You can find it. So that's telling me, guys, that when you think outside the box, you drop baits outside the box that are very unusual to those fish, and a liver being nasty, gooey, bloody, stinky, I just think you'll go. I might be wrong. Or a big, giant wad of night crawlers. Do the same. Put livers on one side of the boat and night crawlers on the other, and drop it amongst those big fish. Night crawlers would probably get him to go quicker than chicken livers, simply because they fed on night crawlers since birth. That is something that's bred into them. That's something in their psyche. They know what that is. They know what it is. So all you can do is try it. I know there's freshwater shark. They just ain't got real sharp teeth, but they will tear your fingers loose. And there's gar in there too. So, guys, just try it and see. And one last thing before we go, please, guys, please go on my personal page, James Smith. You should be able to find it pretty easy. There's a post up that I'm having an auction. Let me see if I can find it. There's a post up that I'm having an auction. All the money raised goes for the military honor guard, guys. Every dime. The wife, she sells the Little Row women's clothing, and she donated all this clothing to auction off for the honor guard. This is the website. You see the pictures of it. I mean, this is the post, and underneath that post is, well, let me go back. Let me go to the comments. You will see comments, guys. I doubt you can see it. Anyway, there's comments like right there, some bobbers. There's different things in there. On down to some of the fishing stuff that we have on there. Go down through there, place your bids. I'm running this till 5 o'clock Friday evening. And then I'll go through and divvy up who won the bids on these articles. Jeff, when did you try to go there? Because it should let you do it now. The first day that I put it up, I didn't realize that Facebook had changed my settings, and it was basically only my friends could look at it. I apologize for that. And Mark has a link to he's auctioning off, Catfish and Crabby's auctioning off a hat also. So go on there, guys, put up your bids. And when we send you a link to Donna's PayPal account to pay it, we will be adding probably around $4 for shipping. I'm not going to charge you any more than that to ship them. I will eat that myself. But we have donated a lot of items to this. A lot of the shirts, guys, this is some of the shirt. This shirt right here is a Little Row shirt. It's got a little bit of a V-neck, but it's not a big one. I don't like the big V-necks. They're very soft. This shirt right here is right at 3 years old, and it's still like brand new. These are very, very, very comfortable clothes, long-lasting clothes. It's hard to wear them out. I've got shirts that's 6 years old that still look brand new, and they wear like your favorite old shirt. What are you talking about, David? Give me a call when we get off here, David, if you don't mind. I want to find out because I just went right to it, but maybe y'all can. I don't know. Lyle, check it out and let me know also. But anyway, please, guys, this money is not for me, not for Donna. This is going to try to put wreaths across America on all of our veterans' graves. I'm just trying to give back to them and help y'all give back also, if you choose to the veterans, simply because we was not able to have our tournament this year and raise much money. These guys don't ask for nothing, guys. The ones in the graves give all for us, and it's our duty to give back. With that being said, guys, God bless each and every one of you. God bless your families. Remember those that give all for us. Remember to appreciate not just our veterans and active member military, but our police, our EMS, fire. They're on the front lines every day in some of this crazy mess that's going on in this country. Get out there, support them, support each other. With that being said, God, we love you. I appreciate your support on this channel. It means the world to me and my family. I know they don't care about the show that much, but I do. And I'll continually to bring the best information I can to you. And if I'm wrong on some of this information, guys, I expect you to call me out on it. If I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. The only way to know that I'm wrong is if somebody points it out. You can't hurt my feelings. So if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. With that being said, God bless, guys. Got a show tomorrow night. Mr. James Dockery and Mr. Chad. On Friday night will be Avid, but it will be actually Catfish and Crappie. Saturday night will be Norm, Catfish Headhunters. Sunday night, Palmetto. Monday night, Catfish Weekly, guys, and you want to be there. I promise you, you want to be there. Bring pen and paper and expect to take a lot of notes because this guy's got a lot of stuff to go over. It's going to be a seminar. I promise you, you want to be there. With that being said, and Tuesday night be Muskrat Adventures. God bless. We'll see y'all in the chat. Good night, guys.